Welcome to the second section on pressure vessels. So last session we discussed about the thin pressure vessels. Now we are going to discussing about the thick pressure vessels. So the condition for thick pressure vessel is that the ratio of internal diameter to the thickness should be less than 15, where in the case of thin pressure vessel that should be greater than 15 value. That was the condition. Now we can start with the thick cylindrical pressure vessel. So thick cylinder, again the definition we repeat. A cylindrical shell is said to be thick if the ratio of internal diameter to thickness is less than 15. For our exam point of view, we only consider the Lehm's theorem for the analysis of cylindrical pressure vessels. So basic assumptions we take during the analysis of thick cylinder is that material is homogeneous and isotropic, in which Hooke's law is valid. So the plane before perpendicular to the longitudinal axis remain plane after the fluid pressure is applied. Then material which is stressed within the elastic limit is free to contract and expand individually. So these are the basic assumptions we consider. Coming to the different type of stresses acting on thick cylinder. So longitudinal stress will be there, hoop stress will be there, and radial stress will be significant. Where in the case of thin cylinder, radial stress is always neglected. So that's the main difference between thick cylinder and thin cylinder in the perspective of stress analysis. So first of all, longitudinal stress we can discuss. Let P be the internal pressure acting on the cylinder. So definitely the bursting force we can find out. Bursting force P is the pressure acting, so which is acting in the internal portion. So what is a cross section that bearing the pressure will be, we can along the longitudinal direction we can take, and that is pi into Ri square value. So which will be resisted with the help of this cross section portion. So that much at that point the stress, longitudinal stress will be developed. So for the equilibrium we can equate these two, which will be equal to sigma E into area cross section. So it's a cylindrical longitudinal cross section portion. We can find out the areas pi into R outer square minus R inner square value. So by cancelling this out quantity, the longitudinal stress sigma L can be taken as P into Ri square divided by R0 square minus Ri square value. So once again I am writing in a black ink. There's a problem with the contrast, so that's why I'm using black. So bursting force, nothing but P into area cross section, that is pi Ri square value. For the equilibrium we can equate with the sigma L into that cross sectional area, R outer square minus Ri square value. So expression for longitudinal stress become pressure P into Ri square divided by R0 square minus Ri square. According to Lehm's theorem, there is a hyperbolic variation of hoop stress with the thickness of cylinder. So the maximum value of hoop stress is developed at the inner surface, and the outer surface hoop stress will be minimum value. So according to Lehm's theorem, hyperbolic variation of sigma hoop stress, sigma h, or circumference stress, is given by sigma h b divided by x square plus a, where a and b are constant, which is find out using the end conditions. So you just keep in mind that the maximum stress is inside the inside surface, and the minimum value, not zero, minimum value is at the outer surface for a hoop stress condition. So while coming to the radial pressure condition, according to Lehm's equation, same hyperbolic variation is there. So similar to hoop stress, the maximum radial pressure will be at the inside, which will be equal to the internal pressure of fluid, the pressure of fluid which is filled in the inside of this pressure vessel. Then sigma minimum radial pressure will be at the outer surface, which will be equal to gauge pressure. That means will be equal to the atmosphere pressure there. So with the reference to atmospheric pressure, we can say that pressure is 0. Otherwise, we can say that is atmospheric pressure acting at the outer surface or outer region. A similar expression is also provided for the pressure variation along the radial direction. We can say radial pressure is equal to B divided by x square minus A for radial pressure variation, where in the case of hoop stress or circumferential stress, that was B divided by x square plus A value. So in the previous slide we discussed that sigma h is B by x square plus A, while coming to the radial pressure it is Bx equal to B by x square minus A value. So one more thing you have to remember, that regarding the radial pressure, for both internal and external pressure, the radial pressure developed in the thick cylinder will be always compressive in nature. So for internal or external fluid pressure, radial stress or radial pressure developed will be compressive in nature. Compressive in nature. Well, the circumference stress, it can be tensile or compressive, depends on the internal or external value. Now coming to the determination of that constants A and B. So first of all, we consider the radial pressure distribution along the thick cylinder, which according to Lenz's equation Px is given by B divided by x square minus A value. So from the Lenz's analysis, we find out that the stress is maximum at the inner surface and minimum at the outer surface. That minimum value will be equal to the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so while considering gauge pressure, that atmospheric pressure is taken as 0 value. So substituting the end condition at x equal to corresponding radius outer, the pressure Px value goes to 0. When x is equal to Ri value, the pressure is maximum, that is equal to the pressure of fluid. So we can say the stress is maximum, that is equal to the pressure of the fluid. So 0 is equal to B divided by R outer square minus A. Therefore, A equal to B divided by R outer square, one value, equation number 1. Then coming to another condition, that is maximum value P is equal to B divided by X. Now X become corresponding R inner square minus A value. A we can replace with B, so R0 square value. From here we can find out an expression for B, that is P into Ri square R0 square divided by R0 square minus Ri square value. If we substitute this value into the equation number 1, we will get expression for A, that is P into Ri square divided by R0 square minus Ri square, because Ri square will get cancelled. So that is the expression for A, and it's the corresponding expression for B. So one more thing you have to remember, we have know the hoop stress expression, that is sigma x according to Lenz's equation is given by B divided by x square plus A, and corresponding radial pressure is given by B divided by x square minus A value. Suppose we consider this equation number 1 and this equation number 2. If we take difference of these equations, sigma x minus px, definitely these two will get cancelled, you will get the value 2a. So sigma x will be equal to 2a plus px. So we can make an assumption, or we can get a conclusion that the maximum stress will be when 2a plus maximum pressure, that is the pressure of the fluid, and minimum stress will be 2a plus corresponding atmospheric pressure. So if we take the atmospheric pressure standard, that value goes to 0, will be equal to 2a. So similar expression is also available for analysis of thick sphere. According to Lenz's equation or Lenz's theorem, sigma x equal to B by x cube plus A. For internal pressure, that will be tensile in nature, while same variation hyperbolic, but the power of x is in the cubical term. Now coming to the radius stress, Px is equal to 2b minus x cube minus a. For both internal and external pressure, the radius stress developed in the thick cylinder, thick sphere will be compressive in nature, same like the thick cylinder. So variation will be similar. Hyperbolic variation will be there. Same method will be used to find out the constant A and B with the help of end conditions. Thank you.